Hi, friends. This is a recording from ArtJoy Sharing Live. We do a fast version of the live show so that you guys can get the gist of what it was we were doing. If you want to go over and see the original, just check out ArtJoy Sharing Live on YouTube and you'll see the whole thing. It's an hour-and-a-half show each week on Thursday. Next week's show will be on Wednesday, however, so catch us then. But I just wanted to show you what we were about this week. So, because Fat Tuesday has come and gone and it is Mardi Gras time, we decided that we would do some Mardi Gras masks. Now, I had this paper mache mask from a long time ago in my stash, and I thought, it's a good time to pull that out and use it up. So, I'm just putting a coat of gold gesso on, and I'll dry that off, and then I'll start embellishing. So, Shell had gotten a mask and I had this one, and so I'm auditioning different pieces that I had made in the past, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use some embossing powders. The first one you see here is a gold. It's from PSX, and they're not even in business anymore. But then I've got these two, a green and a purple from Emerald Creek, and everything's about the bling bling. I've got these shimmery, glittery embossing powders, and so that's what I'm going to use to embellish this with. And then I'm grabbing a Sharpie just to darken the eye sockets and, sketch out where the mouth is going to be, so that I've got an idea of where the different areas are. I'm auditioning this piece thinking I could glue that down, but I don't know. It's not real flexible and it's kind of hard to glue to something like this surface. So I changed my mind on that, and I'm just getting one of those powder tools to make sure that the embossing powder isn't sticking to everything. And then I realized that my pen is probably not wet enough to do the embossing with. So then I decide, well, I'll use a glue pen. And then the glue pen is a little too small, a little too fussy. So then I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and grab some glue and a tool and, you know, put the glue on with this rubber tool and spread it around, and then I'll apply the embossing powder in those different colors. So that's what I do. I start with what did I start with here? The green? Yeah, I started with the green sparkly embossing powder from Emerald Creek, and just, sprinkle that on. And I'm going to heat set it with my heat tool and put the excess back in the jar, clean up whatever excess there is, and yeah, start tapping it down and making a mess. So I'm going to have to go back in and touch up a few areas. But yeah, basically that's what I'm doing, is getting some kind of harlequin shapes on there. When I think about masks, I think about that harlequin shape. And so I'm going to continue on, and because the colors used in Mardi Gras are this gold and green and purple, I'm not sure why that is. I'm going to have to do a little research and figure that out. Then that's the colors that I determined I would use on my mask. So I did do a little research, and what I come up with is back in 1872, the official Mardi Gras colors were selected and were used for the Rex Parade theme, symbolizing the purple color represents justice, the green represents faith, and gold represents power. And that's according to the Mardi Gras newsorleans.com. So we did get it figured out anyway. and I'm not at a loss any longer. So anyway, moving on here, I've got the purple and the gold positioned on there in my sort of like Harlequin design, and I put some coloration to the lip area also. And then I'm going to try to find a stencil in that same Harlequin shape and do a little more of that design on my mask. So I did do a little more research about the whole Mardi Gras and the coloration, and Rex, the king of the carnival, back in 1857, was the originator of the coloration, which is purple, green, and gold. Purple standing for justice, green representing faith, and gold power. And all the float riders were required to wear masks. So that's where the whole mask thing comes in. Um, Fat Tuesday is about, being able to enjoy the carnival, and then Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, which is the beginning of Lent. So, it incorporates all of those faith and justice and power things. So that's where it all originated from. Carnival goes on prior to Mardi Gras. So that's my little slice of history about the whole Mardi Gras and what goes on in New Orleans during this time of year. So I decided I was going to continue on with that Harlequin theme. I grab a stencil with that Harlequin, and I'm trying to go directly to my mask with that paste, and find it is a little more difficult than what I had anticipated. I try taping it down, I try clipping it down, I try holding it in place while I put the paste on, and it just kind of turned into a hot mess. And I'm thinking, okay, I can do better than this. I can clean it up. So I get out some tissue paper, which I should have done originally, and I'm creating some of that Harlequin design on the tissue paper because I know I can glue that down to a curved surface. And I'm looking at that hot mess on there, and I'm saying, oh, got to clean that off. And, I'm trying to see just how bad a mess it's going to be, and smearing some of that purple around where I think it could go. And yeah, I'm going to clean it off. Clean it off my stencil, clean it off of the mask, and try and make this look a little bit better than it is right now. So there it is. I've got it back to something that's a little more manageable. So this paste is taking a long time to dry. I tried drying it with a heat tool, and I look at the backside and it's still wet, and so I'm going to set that aside and work on the rest of my mask while that's drying. Because you know how it is. Sometimes these things in an hour and a half show just don't turn out the way you expect them to. So um, I'm touching it. It's cool to the touch, which to me means it has not dried out yet. So I'm going to go to my stash of stuff. These are just things that I've collected over the years, stuff that I get from the secondhand store, and I am going to start gluing things on. So, this is some beadwork, and I thought it would make a nice topper on this particular mask. It's got that gold coloration in it, and so I'm just going to hot glue everything down, continue on around, get everything in place the way I like it. You know, and you don't have to glue every single bead. I'm just, you know, tacking where I think it needs it as I move around the mask there. So as I continue doing this, I'm thinking about what am I going to do with that paper if it doesn't work out. And we're getting close to the end of our show time because we only broadcast for an hour and a half. And I find another piece of jewels or something in my stash. And I'm thinking, well, that makes kind of a nice crown on there. So let me get that glued in place. And then I'm going to, you know, try to soften the white background on this by putting some wax onto it. And yeah, it's just not working for me. And we're running out of time. And I'm going to glue a piece or try to glue a piece down. And yeah, it's like, no, this is just way more ambitious than an hour and a half show if I were to try to create all of this Harlequin stuff on here and then still end up with a finished mask. So, you know, sometimes shows are like that when you have a deadline. So I decide I'm going to use this other piece. It's been embossed with another one of those purple embossing powders from Emerald Creek. I'm just going to glue that in place, and I'll end up adding some more beads and embellishments, and I'll use the Harlequin with a punch and punch out some floral designs and just, you know, put some small pieces of the Harlequin on because, yeah, I don't have time for a whole half a face or whatever it was I was thinking before. So that's about it. Sorry, didn't mean to jiggle the camera there. But I'll put some gold around with a gold paint pen and some more beads to drape, and we'll give you some final shots. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you come and join us on Art Joy Sharing. So I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for stopping by and leaving comments, being kind to one another, and see you next week. Bye for now.